You guys will definitely want to pay attention to what's going on with that. Hey, everybody. Thank you for being here. Super excited to be sharing this conversation with you. Again, if you're on TikTok, get over to Potential Zone. If you're on here, go over to TikTok and see my most recent content, because I have lots of amazing content going on over there. And I go live a couple times a day. I try to over on TikTok and put out some amazing content. And I'm going to be giving everybody a copy of my book. In fact, let me share this with everybody. So I just finished my first ROI Accelerator Challenge. I just finished that Sunday afternoon, and results are amazing. Had lots of people have amazing breakthroughs, and well, that's just what happens when people show up in my trainings. It's not about me; it's about what they do and what they show up and what they're willing to do. And that goes along with what I'm going to be talking about tonight, because what is our most priceless commodity, our most precious commodity, is our time. Right? So how can you leverage your time? One of the questions that I asked in the ROI Accelerator Challenge is, how can you make $1 million? How could you make $1 million? And see, what's important about that question is that when we start answering or asking different questions, the question compels the answer. And for us to start putting ourselves into, so think about this. Your subconscious wants to serve you. Like, it does serve you the way it believes you want to be served. That's a super important distinction, right? And the thing that's important about that distinction is that your subconscious does not process things negative positively, right? It will literally, it's what gets you sick. It's like, I can tell you story after story of things that I've had with my clients on things of how their subconscious have served them. Bosnia, welcome. So glad you're here. Thank you for joining us and sharing your valuable time with us. But I've had stories with clients that the subconscious did some things that were just like literally mind-boggling. And once you understand that, then you want to get a whole lot more clear about what it is that you really want to create. And see, a lot of people have spent a lot of their lives just doing what they need to do to create what they need to create in order to just get by. And when you start asking them different questions, they start accessing different parts of who they are. Because think about, again, the question compels the answer. So if I ask you a question and get you to go inside yourself, Seema, it's good to see you. Appreciate you being here. If I ask you a question that gets you to go inside of yourself so that you start accessing different parts, well, in doing that journey as well, you're going to start getting in touch with some of the things that keep you from stepping into who you really are. Like the ROI is, the R is for remember. Right now, remember, think about that, is also your ability to rewrite, like literally teaching you how to change your past, right? Like people say you can't change your past. Yeah, you can, right? You can change your past if you know how to do it. And that's what I'm teaching in the mastery part of it. But that's aside the point right now. I want you to get into, how can you create $1 million? Now, first thing that comes up with a lot of people, and just understand that money is very attached to shame. Right? It has a lot to do with our receivership. Like, what is our deservedness? And so sudden wealth syndrome is real, right? Like 85% of lottery winners file bankruptcy within 5 years of winning the lottery. There's a reason. The reason it is because it blew out their nervous system at such a rapid rate that they want to go back to what is familiar to them, right? And they do that because, I want to see if I can get somebody else on here that is a great, I love having Helen on here. She's amazing. Let me see if I can do this. And so being able to do that is really important, because once you understand how to leverage your time, then you can start understanding what it means for you. I'm shutting this down on everybody. Sorry about that. Is once you do that, then you can start understanding how you can leverage what it is that you do. Like, what if you put out something that you could sell for $10, and then that thing that you sold for $10 turned into you selling 1,000 of them a month, right? Or you put something out for $100 and you sell it for 100. You sell 100 of them, right? When you start understanding the value that you have created living your life, and you learn how to glean the information from it that's going to shorten somebody else's learning curve, that becomes valuable to somebody else. However, we don't usually take on usually we will not take on understanding the value of it, because our arrogance tells us that, well, who do you think you are to train something? That's our arrogance, right? Our ego wants to keep us in pain. So once we start understanding that, like, think about, this is one of the exercises that I did with in the challenge, and it was amazing. It was amazing what people. It's just really amazing what people experienced about themselves, because the more we get in touch with how we hold our past has everything to do with what we're going to create in the future, right? Because if we hold our past in a negative light, like we wish things like that wouldn't have happened, what we're going to do is that's going to impact our ability to expand, because what if this happens again, what happened in the past? And so it's going to start causing breakdowns. Hey, Nina, it is so good to see you. If everybody hasn't followed Nina, you got to go follow her. She is amazing. She's got a beautiful, beautiful heart. So learning how to value the journey that you have been on, right? Like, whatever journey you've been on, there are certain hacks that you picked up that could literally shorten somebody else's learning curve. And when you start understanding that learning how to collapse time is literally what wealth is, right? Like, the more you can learn how to collapse time for somebody else, the more valuable you become, right? So think about it. Like, right now, they're going out and they're trying to make fast food employees minimum wage $25 an hour. I guarantee you this is what's going to happen, because they're going to collapse time. And how they're going to collapse time, Alicia, everybody needs to go follow Alicia. She is amazing. Thank you for the rose. That's awesome. And also, if everybody could share this live, I would greatly appreciate it. But what they're going to do is they're going to automate everything, right? It's the same thing that's happened, like with Walmart. Like, go into any of the big departments, or I don't know, retail stores, I guess, Walmart, Target, Lowe's, like a lot of them have gone to starting making automated checkouts. Why? Because the minimum wage has gone higher, right? So the business is in business for profit, friends, and you can not like that, or you can learn from it, right? So how can you leverage your own economy, right? Like, what are some of the things that you have gone through and have overcome that when you were in the middle of overcoming it, you felt like there was no way you're going to get to the other side of it, right? Well, in that journey, you have literally learned some powerful things that could give somebody else hope, right? But see, we don't trust ourselves. And this is the opportunity for people to really understand that once you're able to trust yourself, once you're able to create your own income and be able to do it in a predictable manner so that you know what's coming in. Now, I'm here to tell you, I have been all over on this. This has been one of the areas that, like, constantly grinding, getting people to work with you is, I mean, it gets exhausting after a while, right? So once you're able to create a predictable amount of income because you put things into motion, then it just puts you in a different vibration so that you're able to see things in a much different vantage point, right? And so that's what I want to share with you. Like, again, how can you create $1 million? How can you create $1 million a year? And I first had this idea back, I don't know when it was, late 90s. I'm driving down the road in California, North Dakota. This is back when I lived in North Dakota. There she is, Helen. It is so good to see you. I was actually looking for you to share it with you, and you didn't show up. So I'm glad you're here. Thank you for being here. I was driving down the road in North Dakota, and I had that thought. It's like, how could I create $1 million a year? Well, what is it that I did at that time? I was a master jeweler. Okay, so this is how much I make. And I also knew how much it cost, like the amount of money and effort and time that I put into creating the skill set that I had at that level, and going, if I could show people how to do what I've done, obviously there's no way I could have done it in a year, just because to be a master jeweler, it takes some time. There's a lot involved with that. But I could get somebody to be making $30,000-$40,000. This was, again, back in the late 90s. I could get somebody to doing $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year being a master jeweler. Then all I would have to do, charge him $10,000. All I need is 100 people in a room. Like, do that a year. I think that's right. Something like that. Yeah. That's the numbers I come up with. And they're like, holy crap, that's how I could do it. The whole point of it isn't whether I did it or not. I actually went on and sold jewelry online. I was one of the first big sellers on selling jewelry online before Blue Nile and all that came out, because I learned how to leverage my time, right? The more you can learn how to leverage what it is, friends, understand, like, just understand there's going to be a day that you're not going to be here. There's going to be a day you're not here. And so once you set up, and this is some of the stuff that I'm teaching in the ROI challenge, is once you have something set up that somebody values, all you need to do is scale it, right? This is hugely important. How can you scale you? If you're doing a task and doing whatever it is that produces something to the marketplace of value and you get paid for that, how can you scale that? How can you scale that and multiply who you are, right? Well, we live in a world, like I was just on a training with a guy in Clubhouse. I'm not on Clubhouse yet. I'm going to be on Clubhouse here in the next couple of days, right? But understanding how can you leverage what it is that you do. But see, most people will not take on the value that they own based on their life experience, right? Like how could you, and I get it, like how could I take me almost into my sister's life and my life, how could I turn that around and ended up impacting other people's lives, right? Because the question the nurse asked me when I woke up in the hospital and I had pain, like unbelievable pain move through my entire body, and she asked me a question that forever changed my life. Forever changed my life. That one question. And that one question was, do you know how you got here? Do you know how you got here? And so if I look at knowing how I got there, 19 years old, driving a car like a total maniac, and I had wrecked many cars already before this, gone in ditches many times, going over 100 miles an hour, 120 miles an hour, just I was out of control. When I started looking at how did I end up there, and people saying, Jeff, you're going to kill somebody drinking and driving. Well, if it's their turn to go, it's their turn to go. That's where I was at that time of my life. But going, how did I end up here? Then looking at all the pain that caused me to suffer, that made me to drink the way I drank and drove and smoked and weed and did acid and coke and all that stuff. The more we suffer inside, the more our insides are away from our outsides, the more we're going to suffer. Right. And yeah, just Sheree, you're so awesome. I'm so glad you're here. Right. And understanding anytime you can collapse time. So why this is important. The two most expensive lessons there are. Number one or two, most expensive is taxes. Right. And so why is that important is because if you are a W-2 employee, you are going to pay anywhere from 52 to about 56% of your income in taxes. I want that to sink in. See, and most people do not even understand this is your money. That money that you give to the government is actually your money before you give it to them. Okay, so that's the second biggest expense, right? And so what I tell all W-2 employees is how many dependents are you claiming, right? There's no law that says you can only claim a certain amount of dependents, right? It just means that this is how much they're going to take out of your paycheck to pay taxes. Interest free. Completely interest free. Like they're going to take your money and go be completely irresponsible with it. And then at the end of the day, you get left over what's left over. But most people file zero so that they get a tax return once a year, right? What if you took one dependent and the extra income you got out of claiming, moving from 0 to 1, and you took that one extra money and you invested it into you? See, friends, this is your greatest investment. You are your greatest investment, right? Now, the most expensive thing is not knowing what to do, right? I started this journey. I shared this in the challenge on Sunday. I shared my timeline. Like I remember writing out an $8,000 check. I just sold all my jewelry equipment and I just sent in all my gold sweeps to a gold refiner, and I was freaking out. Like I was walking out the door, driving down to San Diego, which was about a 6-hour drive. We spent 3 days at this event, and I'm sitting there like just blown away by all this content. Like this was amazing. Like, holy crap, I never even thought of this idea. They're talking about being a speaker, talking about being an author, like all the, like, what? Like I'm freaking jeweler, right? Like that's how I know what to do. And I had to build network marketing companies and things like that. And I loved internet marketing, and I'd bought a course by Brad Richdale back in the mid 90s, right? Like I love this concept of marketing. So I went, okay, cool. And then he goes, how much is it? He told me how much the price was. It was like $8,000. This is back in 2008. It was all the money I had, $8,000, all the money I had. And I had to figure out, once I paid this, then I had to figure out how to get back east, because then I had to do a 5-day training and provide room and board for 5 days. And I just wrote out a check from everything that I just had. It was in 2008. 2008. Right after that, I created my first product. What was called the prospecting funnel, right? And where I was at that time, it was an amazing product. I mean, back then I had built a website to be the top 100,000 websites in the world. And that was the prospecting funnel, was being able to build this network of content on different social medias, sending them to a hub, right? Well, it was good. I mean, I sold it. I think I sold it for $25 or something like that. But then I experienced the ability to be able to sell something, right? Well, I sold lots of things in jewelry, but being able to sell information and my own content. Then I went and did at a speaker event, sold a 4 DVD pack that I put up, and I sold it for $800. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And there were probably 20 people in the room. 2 people bought it. I was like, oh my gosh, right? And didn't stick with it, whatever, just went on down the road. But I started this journey that I didn't realize was going to become my mission in life. And then I started doing my certificates, and then I went to Tony Robbins' event, and then I started getting more certifications in NLP and hypnosis and all this stuff, right? And ended up putting myself in another environment. And then had a woman come live with us, a full-blown narcissist, like, oh my gosh, that was going to put me in the next book, The Secret. That was a whole journey. Like, that was $20,000 worth of experience just in monetary investment on that, right? But then guess what? I figured out how to publish my own book, right? #1 international seller now, because I've done it for me. Guess what? I can do that for other people. That's what I'm talking about. My experience has become my greatest asset. My story has become my greatest asset, right? Because no one can tell me that I can't do this, right? And I had to go through some incredible experiences for me to come to believe that, right? And see, we don't value the journey, and the journey is your greatest asset, right? And one of the things that I'm going to be teaching the class, the people were in there, is extraordinary. There was one gal that ended up, like, she had some doubts come up, right? And see, when we listen to the voice of doubt, it impacts us being able to see how our faith is showing up. When we listen to the voice of doubt, and see, the reason it is so easy for us to listen to the voice of doubt is because that's what most of the collective wants us to believe. Like, you start listening to how news reporters, and not only news reporters, but people, like, I'm a huge F1 fan. I love Formula One. And when you're listening to the reporters interview the race car drivers, it's like they want to dig into the most drama stuff because they know that's what sells. That's what they want to dig into. And see, if we allow ourselves to go there, this is what fills our doubt, right? And sometimes, I love it. Sometimes the drivers will just shake their heads like, dude, whatever. Like, seriously, are you asking me these kinds of questions, right? And so you understanding how to move through the doubt and stepping into your faith, stepping into hope, and then having hope into faith. Your greatest challenges that you have gone through, the things that you wished you had never had to go through, the things that you have labels about, or you hold it a certain way that you're embarrassed about, is your greatest asset. Those are the things that can teach and transform someone else's life. How much is hope worth to somebody that's in the middle of the darkness, or that's in the middle of a journey that they wish that they could get out? But then someone comes along and says, you know what? Oh my gosh, like, here, check out this PDF that I wrote. Like, me talking about, like, okay, so, oh my gosh, whoo. Here's a case in point. I went up and got certification for this other mechanism, strategy for another level of coaching, whatever. And I'm in this event. It was a 3-day training. It was pretty profound. And I was going out there. I met a couple, there's a couple of people that I really resonated with, and we went to dinner and lunch and things like that. And we're driving down the road. This was our second to last day together. And she goes, so what's your story? What's your story? What was it that inspired you to become the person that you are today? I'm like, well, it's a great question. When I was 19 years old, I was in a near fatal car accident, and I was drinking and drunk, and my sister was in that car, and just told her the story, right? Like, woke up, fractured my neck, shattered my neck, compound fractured my femur in two places, and almost ended her life. She had major brain damage, shattered her jaw. And I look over at her, and she's ghost white. She's ghost white. I'm like, wow, what's going on? I said, you okay? She goes, yeah, your story has just brought something inside of me that I've been wanting to talk about, but I've never told anybody. And I could tell that, like, her nervous system was on fire. Like, she was just like, absolutely, she was ghost white, like sweating. Yeah, it was an incredible experience. And I said, I can't remember what, I think her name was Darcy. I said, why don't we, after the training, why don't we go out and have a conversation? She goes, yeah, I'd love that. So after the training, I said, okay, cool, let's go out. So we go to this coffee shop. We have this other gal that comes with us. And I said, okay, what came up for you? She talks about this story when she was 16 years old. She had an eating disorder. And her brother was sleeping in the back seat of the car. And behind her brother was a cooler that they had full of sodas. Tabs. I don't know if anybody remembers Tabs. That's dating me. They might still have Tab. I don't know. I don't drink soda anymore. And her mom was sitting in the passenger seat. And she's driving, 16 years old, not very good, not a lot of experience driving. And John Force, really? Awesome. I've seen John Force, amazing. Anyway, so she's driving, and her mom turns around, reaches over her brother to reach into the back. I think it was like a station wagon vehicle to get a soda, okay, to get a Tab soda. When she was doing that, when her mom was reaching back, she had all this shame about eating. She reaches under the seat where she had a cookie hid. And as she reached under the seat to get that cookie, she lost control of the car. The car slid clear across the highway and slammed into a pole and killed her brother. Killed her brother. She had never told anybody that story in public. And I was like, wow. And because I shared my story, it gave her permission to share her story. As I was driving home that night after that, I just broke down, just like, everything I went through in my entire life, just made it all worth it, because I was able to say something in a way that she could relate with. And it gave her freedom. Like, you could just see the weight just being lifted off of her. She didn't feel guilt. She didn't feel like, she just understood. Like, that's one of the things, is like, how many things do we do in our past that we hang on to that keep us from stepping and accelerating our future, right? Not understanding that she was just doing what she did, right? Like, okay, cool, you have an eating disorder. Not that that's cool, right? But she did not intentionally kill her brother. Right? And when we understand that the programs that we have inside of us are the very things that has us do the behaviors that we do, and when we stop judging the programs, we are liberated. We are liberated, right? I mean, who in a zillion years would have ever thought, right? Like, I had a friend of mine. Unfortunately, I haven't spoke with him. I think he's probably going to go to prison if he hasn't already. He was drinking and smoking dope and all that stuff. And I was like, dude, come on, man, there's more to life than this. And I used to sell RVs and met some amazing people and stuff like that. But he was drinking and driving, had a car accident, got into a head on, killed his son. Right. And it's like, how do you deal with that level? And see, anybody you talk to, right, I would be somebody that he could talk to, because I understand that magnitude of guilt. And see, there's all kinds of things that you have gone through that's the same opportunity for somebody else, but it's your narrative about what you've created around those events. Like, in a million years, I would have never signed up and had that accident again with my sister. However, with that is that I know I would not be the person that I am today. I didn't want to live to be 25 years of age. Did not want to live to be 25 years of age. I didn't care. I wanted to die. That was that car accident was my greatest failure. Right. And since then, I've been able to use what I do, and I create millionaires for entrepreneurs, like 7, 8, 9-figure entrepreneurs. That's what I do now, because there's so much guilt and shame that impacts our ability to expand. Yeah. So somebody shared, a friend of mine was on her phone and crashed. Now her daughter is permanently disabled and can't walk. That's life. That's life. And see, because of that, right? Like that's heavy. That's heavy stuff, right? And because of what I've gone through, I mean, Cherie, like I could be happy to have a conversation with her. If we don't let that stuff go and we don't transcend it, this is the thing that's going to destroy us. So learning how to transcend what it is that holds us back is the opportunity that we get to share with everybody else. When I released this book, like it was such a freaking, she is the same as your friend. Yeah, stuffed it. Yeah. When I released this, see, and she said she's the same as your friend. She stuffed it, right? Because it's so overwhelming that we can't even comprehend what it means to deal with that level of guilt. Guilt and shame are the biggest two that keep us from stepping into our greatness. It's the thing that fires doubt quicker than anything, right? So when I wrote this book, the amazing thing about this is it started getting me to look at that car accident in a different perspective. Like, holy crap, there was a lot of people that this car accident impacted. And then I started talking to family members and things like that. I started talking to my dad, and like he lived in Utah at the time. He came up from Utah to North Dakota. It was actually just a couple days before Father's Day. Everybody spent their freaking Father's Day in the hospital because of what I had done. Right. And understanding, like, if you're not able to make sense of your past, then you are constantly going to be worried about what somebody else thinks of you. Right. And when you understand I know this is going to challenge some of you, but I say with all the love in the world, but this has been what supported me in transitioning who I am today. All, capital A, capital L, capital L, all behavior. Doesn't matter what it is. All behavior has a positive intention for the person with the behavior, because the program makes it believe that this is what is necessary for this person to overcompensate for whatever suffering they have going on inside. Right. And the more you can embrace your own humanity, the more you accept yourself and love yourself, the more you give permission to other people to do the same. Right. And that's where, think about how much that impacts our deservedness. Right. Like when I just got my card, like it just came up another level of what I had hung on to with where I was at with the car accident. See, and too many people, I shouldn't say too many people, most people look at a transformation as an event, right? It's not an event. It's every time you expand, you get introduced to new levels of who you are, right? So the more you learn to embrace it, like right now, friends, I'm telling you, I am going through a threshold and a half right now, right? Like this is just what's going on in my own life. And because I've Gemma, oh my gosh, it is so great. Gemma's amazing. I haven't seen Gemma in so long. She's a hoot. I love Gemma. I have been going through the various things that I've had to go through in order for me to let go, because what determines how far we rise is determined by what we hang on to. Right. And we have to get into a vibrational harmony with what it is that we want to create. Wealth is a vibrational harmony, whatever wealth means to you. Right. And understanding it's money, it's time, it's energy, it's all these different things. Yeah, it's so great to see you again. I haven't seen you in a long time. She went through our masters and practitioners as well. That was cool. We had a lot of fun with Gemma. She's an amazing woman. So it's you looking at what can you help other people with? Can you support other people with? Right? How can you use what you've gone through to inspire and leverage what somebody else is going through? What would it be worth? Just like Cherie's saying, what would it be worth for somebody to know what you know, and it prevents them from having to experience what you experienced? Like, how much would that be worth? Like, understand, Dave Ramsey's filed bankruptcy 3 times, right? What's more valuable is learning what not to do than learning what to do. Right? We are more pain adverse than we are positive driven, right? Like, we look at the media, like, understand 9/11, when 9/11 happened, the news figured out something really, 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 really important. And that is, people love negative news, right? So, okay, cool. The ratings went off the charts when 9/11 happened. Well, let's just keep feeding them all that stuff because it makes them suffer more. And guess when they suffer more, they're going to consume more, right? So you get to be the opportunity to support somebody in shortening that learning curve, right? And yeah, I mean, I could go on and on and on about this, but that's why I'm saying is just, you want to be a part of the next challenge that I'm going to be doing, because I'm going to share with you how your story is your greatest asset. Your story is your greatest asset. Gemma, yeah, exactly. I mean, what is the meaning of your pain? What is the meaning of your pain? Right? Like, I know there's somebody on TikTok that just sent me an epic text today, right? And see, the things that we hang on to are the opportunity for us to expand. And this is one of the things that I have found doing this 30 plus years, right? Is that there's forgiveness. Like, okay, what does that mean? There's a whole process that I support people and get them to really glean what that really means. And then there's letting go, and there's into power. True transformation, true healing is when you're able to stand in the power that the wound denied you, right? And so you can do it cognitively, you can do it unconsciously, or you can do it experientially, right? And once you understand what that means, is being able to step into the experience and face the things. See, like, think of this. So here you are as a child, like a child's here, and you have an authority figure in your life that's just giving off intense vibration, right? And because of this, you seared literally an experience in your life that has impacted you all your adult life. Now you're an adult, and somebody that vibrates you the same way that you felt as that little child, you're going to have a really hard time standing your ground with this person, because it's the child that's experiencing the pain, right? So I'm going to show you, like, how you can take this little child that's inside of you and reframe how you represent that experience. So now you can be more powerful than the authority figure that caused you to play small. What I just shared with you right there, friends, is powerful. It's powerful. Everything that you have out here, you represent inside of you. And once you understand that, then all you got to do is change how you represent it. And then you can stand in your power, right? Like the person I'm talking to, I'm not going to share who it is, but she stood in her power and stood up and shared something with her dad, and like smoked him. And he got to see something that she probably wanted to be sharing all her life, right? And that's the healing. That's the healing. When we're able to share our truth, the results are going to be what they're supposed to be. But most people are afraid of sharing their truth because they share their truth as this little person, and they experience humiliation. And then they spend the rest of their life not ever wanting to experience that again. That's what I do. I show people how to let that go so that they can stand in their true power and create the life that they really want to create. That's freedom. That's freedom. Right. So I appreciate everybody being here. Gemma, it's so great to see you. Debbie, it's great to see you again. Yes, it's great to see you again. I know you've been going through, well, according to your post. Big hugs to you. April, it's great to see everybody. Appreciate all of you being here. Going to be Tuesdays and Thursdays. Sunday too, we're going to be doing some Sunday shows as well. So I'm really excited to share with you all what's going to be coming up in the very near future. The challenge was incredible. Like, the feedback, the people, the breakthroughs, all of that was life-changing. And I'm really, really excited to share that more with everybody else as well. So love each and every one of you. And yeah. Live like your life depends on it, because it does. And once you start understanding that what you have lived is a very valuable asset that you can support somebody else in. So answer the question, how can you create $1 million? How can you create $1 million? And just sit with it, right? And then just pay attention to what comes up with you, like being able to, what's the resistance that comes up around that? Because that's your opportunity, right? What determines how you accelerate through life is your resistance to it. So learn how to embrace the resistance that comes up for you. Okay? So glad to see everybody here. Appreciate all the comments. Appreciate all the love. Love each and every one of you. Have a blessed evening, and I'll see you soon. Till then, take care. Be loved.